Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a secret our elders used for generations to farm without getting buried in debt. Back in the day, farmers didn't rush to the store for seeds every season, not at all. They had an endless supply right on their own land. And this one simple practice saved them money and, more importantly, protected them from debt. So let's explore exactly how they did it. For countless generations, this was just the truth. Farmers got it. They understood that a seed wasn't just a starting point. It was a legacy. By saving their own seeds, they weren't just saving a bit of cash. No. They were creating plants that were perfectly tuned to their specific soil, their climate, their way of farming. It was this beautiful, self-reliant cycle. I mean, it's a pressure every single farmer feels, right? The cost of everything goes up, and that first expense, year after year, is always the seeds. It can feel like this treadmill you just can't get off of. But what if? What if there was a way to break that cycle? What if you could turn just one harvest into a lifetime of seeds absolutely free? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about. Let's dig into this wisdom with a simple story. This isn't about complicated science or anything like that. It's about timeless knowledge. It's the story of an old farmer, a grandfather, who understood that true wealth wasn't in his wallet. It was in the seeds he kept safe at home. So this wise old farmer, he kept 3 simple containers. The first one, that held the seeds for his own field for the next season. The second one was his backup, his insurance policy, just in case he had a bad year or a crop failed. But the third one, the third was for sharing. He knew that a strong community where neighbors actually helped each other was the best security you could ever have. It was a whole system for his family, his future, and his entire village. This was his North Star, his guiding principle. It wasn't about fancy market strategies. It was about this fundamental truth that food security, it all starts with seed security. When you control your own seeds, you control your family's future. Simple as that. Okay, so you're ready to get started. The very first decision you make is, honestly, the most important one. It's the one that determines whether you can save seeds for just one season or for a lifetime. Let's break down the 2 types of seeds you're going to come across. All right, check this out. On the left, you've got your hybrid, or F1 seeds. That F1 just means first generation. And look, they're fantastic for one season, they give you high yields, they're really strong. But, and this is a big but, if you save their seeds, the next generation of plants will be a total mess, unpredictable and often pretty weak. Now, on the right, you have Desi, or open-pollinated seeds. And this, my friends, is the key. These produce plants that are true to their parent, which means the seeds you save will give you that same great crop, year after year after year. This is the one thing you really need to remember. If you want to break that cycle of buying seeds, you have to start with lifetime seeds. So you're going to look for local, Desi, or open-pollinated varieties. This is your ticket to being self-reliant. Now, once you have the right kind of seed, you've got to protect it. There are really only 2 major enemies that are going to try and destroy your stored seeds: moisture and heat. It's pretty simple. Too much moisture, you get fungus and rot. Too much heat can literally cook the life right out of the seed. So our entire strategy for saving seeds revolves around one simple goal: keep them dry, keep them cool, and keep them sealed. Okay, let's get practical. The whole process can be broken down into 3 simple steps that absolutely anyone can follow. First, you select the best plants. Second, you process and dry the seeds the right way. And third, you store them safely. Let's walk through each one. Okay, rule number 1, a good seed comes from a good mother. You gotta walk through your fields and be picky. You are looking for your star performers, the plants with the strongest stems, the healthiest leaves, the best fruit. You want to avoid any plants that look sick or weak. And here's a pro tip for you. Don't just take seeds from one perfect plant. By collecting from about 10 to 20 of your best plants, you keep that genetic diversity, which actually makes your future crops even stronger and more resilient to problems. So once you've picked your plants, the next step is processing. And there are basically 2 ways to go about it. For dry seeds, like beans or corn, you just let the pods dry right on the plant until they're brown and brittle and they rattle. Then you thresh them, break them open to release the seeds. For wet seeds, like from tomatoes or cucumbers, you need to let the fruit get super ripe. Then you scoop out the seeds and all that pulp and use a process called fermentation to clean them. We'll get to the simple science behind why you have to do that in just a moment.
Now, this might just be the most critical step of all. Remember enemy number 1? Moisture. You have to get your seeds bone dry before you even think about storing them. Spread them out in a single layer on a plate or a screen, and please don't use paper towels. They can stick and cause all sorts of problems. Find a place with good airflow, but out of the direct burning sun. Give them a little turn every day. So, how do you know when they're ready? A properly dried seed will literally snap or shatter if you try to bend it. If it just bends, it needs more time.
And now, for the elder's trick for perfect storage. Once your seeds are completely 100% dry, put them in an airtight container. A simple glass jar or a sealed tin works perfectly. Now, you're going to add two things. First, some dried neem leaves. The natural oils in neem are an amazing insect repellent. Second, mix in a little bit of cool, dry wood ash. The ash is incredible at soaking up any tiny bit of moisture that might still be hanging around. Seal it up tight, slap a label on it, and you are done.
But here's the thing. These old tricks, they're not magic. They're actually backed by really simple science. This isn't just tradition for tradition's sake. It's a deep, deep understanding of nature. Let's take a quick look at why these methods are so incredibly effective. Did you ever wonder why we have to ferment tomato seeds? Well, it's because of this thing called a germination inhibitor. It's this natural jelly-like coating that acts like a safety switch. It stops the seed from sprouting while it's still inside the wet, juicy fruit. The fermentation process, it just copies what happens in nature, safely dissolving that gel so the seed is ready to grow when you plant it next season. Pretty smart, huh? Here's another really interesting fact. Not all seeds have the same lifespan. As you can see here, seeds like onions might only be good for a year or two. But tomato and cucumber seeds, man, if you store them right, they can last for 5 years or even longer. And this is so important to know because you can't just assume an old seed is still good to go. So, how do you check? Before you commit your valuable land and all that time, do this super simple test. Just take 10 seeds from your stored batch, place them on a damp cloth, and keep it moist. In a few days, just see how many have sprouted. If you get 7 or more, your seeds are strong, you're good to go. If it's less than that, you know you either need to plant them a lot more thickly or maybe start with a fresh batch. It's a simple test that can save you a whole season of failure. The lesson here is so simple. Test first. This one little step takes all the guesswork out of planting. It's really the difference between hoping for a good crop and knowing you're starting with strong, viable seeds. All right, we've covered a whole lot of ground. We've seen how to choose the right seeds, how to process them, and how to store them using this amazing ancient wisdom. Now, let's bring it all together into a clear action plan for your own farm. Here it is, your 4-step path to seed freedom. First, select the absolute best mother plants. Second, process and dry them until they are perfectly brittle. Third, store them in that airtight container using the elder's trick of neem and ash. And finally, always, always test a small sample before you plant your entire field. And this says it all, doesn't it? What is the cost of your seeds for next season? 0. Nothing. Just think about that for a second. The money you save isn't just money in your pocket. It's a loan you don't have to take. It's peace of mind. It's the freedom to invest in other parts of your farm, in your family. And ultimately, that is the secret our elders knew. A seed is not just a little thing you plant in the ground. It is independence. It is security. It's a promise you make to yourself and to your family for the next harvest. It is, truly, freedom. So now, I really want to hear from you. What wisdom has been passed down in your family? Did your grandparents use neem or ash? Maybe something else entirely. Go ahead and share your own elders' tricks in the comments below. Every single piece of shared knowledge helps another farmer become stronger. And hey, if you found this useful, please subscribe and share it with a friend. Thank you so much.